Never, ever.
Never, ever any off days. Jerry Jones was just on the radio. Dave's going to break us down on that. We're going to talk a little more Kellen Moore and even a look around the league at some really weird things that are happening. Is this maybe one of the weirdest starts to a season that y'all can remember?
That was a bizarre couple of days in the NFL, yeah.
It's been really weird. Kellen Moore is still what everyone is talking about driving to work on the radio, guys. As you've had a day to kind of process it, Barry, what are you thinking about? Can this thing stick, and can we continue to see what we saw with Kellen Moore?
I think it can stick for sure. I mean, he did a great job of balancing the run and the pass, often setting up the run with the pass, which we haven't seen thus far from the Cowboys offense. So if he can continue to make defenses feel kind of off balance and off structure, then I think he'll have success going forward.
Yeah, it was 30 rushing plays and 32 passing plays, so very balanced. And guys, I liked what Jerry was saying today. He's just doing the small things better. So that's all you need.
From Kellen Moore post-game before we continue here on Cover 4.
We had a lot of success, and obviously we're fortunate we were able to kind of get in the groove there in the second and third quarter, and so, hopefully we can build on it. There's a lot of silly things that you watched, and you said, we can improve on those, but, hopefully it gets better. Dak did a great job. I think just got really comfortable. He just has such a good command of the offense, and I think everyone feels really confident when he's out there. Zeke's going to get his when he gets his, and, obviously his play count probably wasn't super high, probably just under 40, and we'll continue to build on that and keep adding more and more as the season progresses. We want to be aggressive. We want to kind of dictate things with, our shift in motion personnel, but at the same time being able to get on the ball and do some of that no huddle stuff. Obviously a lot of our guys are really comfortable with that, and that's kind of the way they grew up. They were in no huddle, in high school and college, and so the more you can sprinkle that in, I think it helps us. Obviously there are certain things that we didn't necessarily want to throw out there early, and so I feel like it was a good start to the season, and hopefully we can kind of build on this and continue to pull some different things out.
I'm really pumped that Kellen mentioned Zeke right there. And look, it's exciting that they threw for 400 yards. It's awesome. But we all know Zeke's going to have a bigger role than 37 snaps and 13 carries. The run game for this team hasn't really gotten going. It's going to, and I think it can only help. I'm excited about that.
I think it has to keep going, like you said. I mean, we know this offense from the past. I mean, the run game runs this whole offense. So we know going forward, they're going to sprinkle in some passes as well, but they got to go behind the Iron Horse and Zeke.
Right. Shout out to Alex Lilly for the sounds from the sideline yesterday. I'm sure you guys all saw them. They were great, and what I loved the most was when Amari Cooper was just talking about, we all going to get the rock, and they all did, and that's what Kellen Moore set up for them. I just loved that from him.
It was good. Dave, and what did you hear from Jerry Jones on the radio this morning? I know he's talking about a lot of different players getting the bag.
I don't really know exactly what I heard. Like, it's classic Jerry's like, well, a deal with Dak is imminent. But that's just how I feel. Maybe Dak feels differently, so maybe we're close, but maybe we're not close. And then Amari Cooper got brought up, and he was like, we've made a lot of progress. We'll see where it goes. So I think, shocking, breaking news, both of those deals are going to get done. I have no idea when, and I'm still trying to parse through exactly what Jerry said.
That's I loved your tweet. Like, once those get done, what are we going to do?
We've been talking about these contracts for so long. What are we going to do if Dak and Amari, let's just say they both signed during the 2019 season, what are we even going to talk about? I get maybe Byron Jones. Like, we can just move on to the Byron Jones
Find the next contract.
Find the next guy that needs a contract. I don't even know what else we would do.
Next thing we want to reflect on before we move on to the Redskins tomorrow is this defense and what can they do to kind of get in their groove and not allow so many big chunk plays?
Well, Rob Marinelli's defense that's a pretty simple one. It's a one-gap defense, basically saying that everybody that's in that front 7, front 8, with including the safety, has a gap responsibility. So when they go back and film, they see all these long, busted-out runs that have happened, they can easily point out and say, hey, you went to the wrong gap, or you misdone it here. So I think it'll be an easy fix going forward. They just need to get the technical things down.
That's just discipline?
Just discipline at the end of the day. Sometimes you're peeking in the wrong gap and the play goes in your gap, so it's just a discipline issue.
And I liked what new captain Jeff Heath said. He was like, hey, we did take our foot off the gas a little bit. We won't do that. That's not up to our standard. I think we'll see a different defense, but the offense just let them kind of lean back a little bit, which we did not see in 2018. So that was nice. Defense will step it up, I'm sure.
And you heard some of the Cowboys going into this game, Dave, reflecting on the Rams, how that left a bad taste in their mouth. And then you even have the Colts game last year where that happened out of nowhere. So hopefully they can build on this and turn it around.
Yeah, and maybe just dial in a little bit more. I mean, Jason Garrett said after the game it wasn't edgy enough for 60 minutes. Like, you not full throttle. You got to play that way in the NFL. Obviously, the Giants' most successful drive was the very first one of the game. Sometimes it's hard to settle in and do what you're supposed to when you're amped and the season's starting and all that good type of stuff. I'm not super worried about it. Like, when the game was in doubt, the defense was on the screws. So I don't think this is a huge
Cowboys will be
deal.
hot again.
Yeah, no, I don't think you have to worry about
They're
that.
heating up. DeMarcus Lawrence getting heat for not signing a kid's jersey, who was wearing a Giants jersey.
Sorry
See
about
that.
Oh, no.
Just stepping onto that party bus too, though. If you guys check it out on Twitter, DeMarcus Lawrence retweeted it. It's pretty funny.
So check it out.
We got great
Good
stuff,
stuff,
as
Lynn.
always, to talk about here when we work for the Cowboys. When we come back, we are giving you the best sounds from around the NFL. You cannot miss it. Plus, 2-minute drill where we talk about some surprise inactives and what the Cowboys are thinking about these guys.
You're watching Cover 4. Go Cowboys!
Getting fed right here. It's his time of the game to close it out.
Here's Prescott keeping for the touchdown. Caught at the 40, running away. This is amazing. Touchdown. How about this, Cowboys?
As you listen around and you hear people writing you off, you just hope they keep writing you off. You know, the people that's writing me off, I hope they also writing their wheels, because I'm at your neck. I'm at everybody's neck this year, and I hope you understand that.
I don't know. Play offense. I don't know.
How many worst offense he'd ever seen?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Wait, this is just another game. We ain't worried about it. I'm gonna tell you again, man. They were who we thought they were. Y'all can crown them if you want to crown them. You still gotta play football.
People are gonna say some of this was because you guys. I don't care about what nobody says. So don't ask me that question. Because I can try and count in the preseason had something to do with it. We don't ask me no question like that. Okay.
Already getting some food in week 1.
Yikes.
Well, I mean, when you're hailed as the AFC North champs for 6 months and lose by 30 points, that type of stuff might happen.
All right, stop getting into my answer for later.
Sorry.
The question is, what was the biggest surprise for you, Dave, in week 1, now that it's over?
Sorry, Cowboys fans. I assume you're a Cowboy fan if you're watching this. For me, Philadelphia Eagles. Surprising that they go down 17-0.
They can come back.
And then what do? They absolutely blitzed the Redskins in the second half. They outscored them 32-10 after going down by 17. Redskins scored their last touchdown with 6 seconds to play. So you're really talking 32-3 down the stretch. Wentz throws for 300 yards. Like, if you fall in a 17-0 hole in the pros, you're not supposed to be able to bounce back. And the Eagles handled it really nicely. They looked scary. Not surprising.
If Carson Wentz stays healthy,
It is what it is.
this could be a handful for the Cowboys.
It's something to watch. They look really good.
Doozy.
It's something to watch. Well, if you guys were watching Sunday Night Football, you saw that the Patriots are back once again. And this is the Patriots without Antonio Brown. I'm a little bit scared to see what happens when AB does join this team. But guys, the 30-point margin of victory is the largest in week 1 for the Belichick era. So
they usually start slow. It's terrifying.
Yeah. As much as people are planning the trip to Miami for Cowboys fans, Patriots already have it booked because they are just ready to be there in February. And
salty.
yeah, and they take on the
There
Miami
now.
Dolphins this week. So
Barry, your biggest surprise.
My biggest surprise for week 1 has to be Lamar Jackson. I mean, going out there, this guy was considered the best running back on his team last year. And for him to go out there and throw for 5 touchdown passes, the only quarterback to throw for more yards than Dak Prescott in week 1. I mean, this guy was super surprising. He led it. I mean, granted, the Miami Dolphins is a bad secondary, but I mean, he looked great doing it. All balls seemed like they were on the money. I mean, this guy's looking good so far.
I'm happy for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
Like, so happy for
Good
this guy.
Yes.
I love that line. He was like, not bad for a running back, right?
Yeah, this is true.
My biggest surprise, Oklahoma native here, thought Baker Mayfield was going to do some big things. I had higher expectations for the Browns. 43-13 loss to the Titans. After the whole offseason to get ready, don't do this to me, Browns. We were all watching. We're waiting for you to be in prime time. Don't go 0-6 to start the season or something like that.
It's early. They got time to bounce back.
But we already have attitude from Jarvis Landry. Like, I
telling
just
you,
like what's going on with the Browns.
There might
Like
have
you
been.
said, watching. Was that a pun, Lindsay, with the Odell Beckham watching?
$350,000 watches. And
It doesn't look so swaggy when you get blown out.
No, by the Titans.
Give it to me, man. I'll take it off your hands.
2-minute drill. Here's the question. We had a couple inactives on Sunday. Tristan Hill, the rookie defensive lineman. That one's kind of expected, but Taco Charlton's been around the block. So let's just start there. What's going on, Barry, from the outside looking in?
From the outside going in, I mean, Rob Marinelli is a guy that if you're not doing much for him, he doesn't care where you came from, what round you were drafted in, and you're going to sit on the bench. But, Taco's he's nursing an ankle injury coming back, so I don't see it as a big problem going forward. But if he's out, week 2, week 3, week 4, then he's got to have a problem on his hands.
Yeah, just stay tuned to his social media because Taco told all of us on Sunday morning that he would likely be inactive. I haven't ever seen that from a player sending out that kind of message before the game. And Dave, it just doesn't look good. It's not a good look.
If you're in year 3, and you're right, he was dealing with an injury, but healthy enough to practice the week before, still a scratch.
I'm calling it a healthy scratch.
It's not a great look. There's no way around it. If you want a silver lining, it's that this is a deep defensive line. They don't need him to be successful. But no, there's no way around it. It doesn't look good. Tristan Hill doesn't bother me so much. Pick 58, a rookie, developmental guy on a talented defensive line. You'd love it if he was good enough to be active, but I'm not sweating that one whatsoever.
You want him active this week?
Even if he's not active this week, if he's inactive all season long, then we've got problems. But first few weeks of the season, especially with how talented this D-line is, that doesn't bother me. Taco, year 3, that one is kind of, you don't love to see that.
You don't love to see
And one more game without Robert Quinn. He's a guy that
They're going to have to make a decision.
forgetting about,
They're
right?
going to have to make a decision. Robert Quinn will be back for week 3.
What's it going to be, Dave? You know everything.
I mean, the writing is on the wall. I don't know what that means for Taco. I don't know,
Here we go.
It's,
now we're getting into your thoughts.
there's no denying it. When you see that type of stuff, there's, you've heard trade rumors about him in the past. Somebody will have to be cut. It doesn't have to be a defensive lineman. It could be somebody else, but they will have to make a move to get someone on the team. Just saying, I would keep an eye. I would keep an eye on Taco. I would. That's
Keep an eye on Taco.
Hamhorn.
3, Robert Quinn is back. Cowboys got to make a decision with what they're going to do. All right, guys. Don't forget, the big news of Tuesday is Barry Church ain't leaving. He's staying around for a podcast. And it's at 2 o'clock today.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock today.
Oh, you can go home and come back. You don't have to hang out here all
He
day.
go get around to golfing and then come back.
True.
For Barry, Tay, Dave, I'm Linz. We'll see you guys tomorrow, Wednesday, for another cover for your favorite show at the Dallas Cowboys, besides Barry's podcast.
Players Lounge.